Good morning, students. Today we have to discuss another important concept that is called as asymptote. Asymptote is a newly introduced concept. It was first introduced in 2025. You might not see any question in any of the book. You might see a question in one of the past papers that we recently had. So, what is an asymptote? Before we start, what is an asymptote? Just observe that I have plotted three lines. I plotted two straight lines and two curves on the graph. You can see that the red is the curved graph, which is a graph for the equation y is equals to 2x minus 2 over 3x plus 3. Okay, this type of a function is called as rational function. Beside these two red lines, you can see a green line and the blue line. The green line represents a horizontal asymptote and the blue line represents a vertical asymptote. Now, question should rise in your mind, what is an asymptote? Asymptote is a straight line. You can see that green line is a straight line and the blue line is a straight line as well. Asymptote is a straight line that the curve approaches but never touches or crosses. If you magnify this graph, you can see that it is approaching the curve but is not crossing it. Same goes for this line. Okay, you can see that it's never going to touch it, right? So this is an asymptote. Now the question rises how to find out that particular line, either the horizontal line or the vertical line. So I'm going to explain you step by step. In our syllabus, you might have seen equations based on linear equation. So the first type of equation is linear equation in your curriculum. What is a linear equation? Linear equation looks like y is equal to 2x minus 3. You're familiar that as the word suggests that they will always produce straight lines. Okay, so such lines do not have any asymptote. Linear equations don't have any asymptote. Okay, and then we studied about quadratic equations. Quadratic equations look like this: y is equals to 2x raised to the power 2 plus 3x minus 2. Let's say this is a quadratic equation. Quadratic equations also do not have asymptote. So these two type of equations won't have any asymptote, so you should not be worried about them. After it, we have polynomial equations. So what are polynomial equations? Quadratic equation is an example of a polynomial equation. You can say that any equation that has an x cube, x square, or x raised to the power 4, such type of equations are also called as polynomial equation. For example, you see an equation y is equals to 2x raised to the power 3 plus 2x raised to the power 2 minus 3. For example, you have this equation. This comes under the category of polynomial equation. Such equations also don't have any asymptote. Now, what type of equation is left that will have an asymptote? So we'll only be left with the rational equations where we'll have the asymptote. So a rational equation will look like this. A rational equation, for example, is y is equals to 3 over x minus 2. This is an example of a rational equation. Now, just observe the denominator. You can see that the denominator is x minus 2. So for finding out the asymptote, we are going to find out that x minus 2 should be made equal to 0. So you can see that x is technically equals to 2. So x is equal to 2. What does this x is equal to 2 will look like when we plot it on the Cartesian plane? For example, this is your x coordinate, this is your x-axis, and this is your y-axis. So x is equal to 2 means the line x is equal to 2 will look like this one. this is the line for x is equal to 2. So you can see that this is a vertical line. This is a vertical line. So this line is called as vertical asymptote. Now, you observed that in the initial example, you observed that there was a horizontal asymptote and there was a vertical asymptote. This was a vertical asymptote. Now you can see that there is another line. This is a horizontal line. This is a horizontal asymptote. Okay, so we were discussing the equation where equation was y is equals to 3 over x minus 2. We have already calculated its vertical asymptote, which is x is equal to 2. Now I'll explain you how to find out its horizontal asymptote. For its horizontal asymptote, look at the numerator. Its numerator is a constant number. The numerator of the equation is constant, right? So when the numerator is constant number only, the horizontal asymptote will be always 0. So horizontal asymptote will always be equals to 0. So the equation of the horizontal asymptote is y is equal to 0 in this particular case. Now look at another example. For example, we have equation y is equals to 4 over x plus 8. So this is the equation. You can see that. You can simply tell me the vertical asymptote. For vertical asymptote, you have to make denominator equals to 0. So x plus 8 is equal to 0. So x is equal to minus 8. This is the vertical asymptote. This is the equation of vertical asymptote. Okay. So for horizontal asymptote, you can see that the numerator is a constant value, that is 4. So the horizontal asymptote will be equal to y is equal to 0. Now, moving to another example that the graph we have already plotted at the start of the video. The graph was for the equation y is equals to 2x minus 2 over 3x plus 3. The same rule is applicable for vertical asymptote. For vertical asymptote, what we are going to do? We are going to make denominator equals to 0. So 3x plus 3 equal to 0. So 3x is equals to negative 3 and x is equal to negative 3 over 3. So x is equal to negative 1. So this represents vertical asymptote. You can clearly see this thing in the graph plotted, that x is equal to minus 1 is this blue line that represents the vertical asymptote. That asymptote is not crossing the curve, it's just approaching it. And for finding out horizontal asymptote, it's also a bit of easier concept. You can see that what is the coefficient of the numerator and what is the coefficient of the denominator. You will just write them as an equation. So the horizontal asymptote is going to be y is equals to 2 over 3. I'm repeating it. Horizontal asymptote is basically the fraction of the leading coefficient. The leading coefficient in the numerator is 2. The leading coefficient in the denominator is 3. So the fraction is going to be y is equal to 2 by 3. That will be the equation of the horizontal asymptote. So that's it. This was the concept. You won't have any other type of equation where you have to find out the asymptotes. Thank you very much.